What happens if an ordinary guy puts on Michael Jordan's sneakers and is struck by lightning? Let's find out. Just don't repeat this trick at home. Calvin Cambridge is 13 years old and he loves playing basketball. He has two best friends, Murph and Reg. They spend all their time on the sports field. These guys are real basketball fans. They have no parents and they live in an orphanage in Los Angeles. They are constantly bullied by other teenagers from this shelter. Those who are older, taller, and stronger than our heroes. The leader of the bullies, a guy named Ox, invites Calvin to play basketball with him. The main prize is Calvin's own T-shirt. The guy accepts the challenge and loses. Calvin is left without his T-shirt. Everyone laughs at him, and our hero offensively says that when he is adopted, he will buy him 5 of these T-shirts. In the evening, all the children from the orphanage perform the next task of their director, Stan Bittleman. They have to sell chocolates and other sweets during every game of the local Los Angeles Knights basketball team. Kelvin and Murph are watching the next match on the big screen with interest. However, this time the Los Angeles Knights are losing. Kelvin notices the coach of this team, Mr. Wagner. He offers the man a chocolate bar and talks about the mistakes each of the players has made. Mr. Wagner gives Calvin $20. The guy replies that the shelter director takes all the money for the chocolate sold. No one spends it on children. Mr. Wagner is surprised by Kelvin's honesty, so he offers the guy some tickets to the next Los Angeles Knights game. After a few days, a lot of people show up at the shelter. Some of them want to adopt a child, while others have brought various things for orphan children. Of course, almost everyone is interested in the youngest children, and no one wants to take teenagers into their family. In one of the donation boxes, Calvin finds a pair of old sneakers. He tries them on and realizes that it's his size. These sneakers have the initials MJ on them. It looks like Michael Jordan himself once wore them. The bullies from the orphanage appear behind Kelvin again. Okes takes these sneakers from our hero and throws them on a power line. Kelvin can't sleep at night. He's gonna be dead, and Reg says he has to get those sneakers. It's raining heavily, but despite this, the guy climbs a tall tree and reaches for the wires on which his sneakers are hanging. Kelvin grabs them and is struck by lightning at that moment. Fortunately, the guy is fine. The next day, Kelvin and his friends go to a game between the Los Angeles Knights and the Minnesota Wolves. Kelvin gives Aksu an extra ticket so that he doesn't tell the shelter director anything. The Wolves from Minnesota win in the first half. The judges announce a break. The coach asks the players to put in more effort, otherwise they will lose again. To cheer up the fans, famous basketball player Tracy Reynolds is called to the field. The lucky ticket number is taken out of the drum. Whoever owns this ticket can enter the field and play with Tracy. And that lucky guy is Calvin. The guy goes to the stadium and meets his idol. Calvin ties the laces on his sneakers and whispers that he wants to be just like Michael Jordan. Our hero scores the first ball in the basket and then the second. The audience cheers. Tracy starts to get angry, but Calvin does something incredible. Everyone freezes in shock and surprise, and then the crowd gives its winner a round of applause. And only Tracy is not happy about it at all. Mr. Wagner visits the director of the orphanage and informs him that he wants to invite Kelvin to join his basketball team. He's willing to pay $5,000 for a one-day contract with the Los Angeles Knights. Stan Bittleman would do anything for that kind of money. Murph and Reg are very happy for their friend, and only Okes is incredibly jealous of him. Kelvin admits that the secret of his success is Michael Jordan's old sneakers. When he puts them on, he becomes invincible. Ox eavesdrops on Calvin's conversation. Our hero goes to the Los Angeles Knights and gets himself a new uniform. Kelvin says he doesn't need new sneakers because he'll be playing in the old ones. Coach Wagner admitted that Kelvin was invited only to interest the audience. They're not even going to let him out on the field. Soon, the Los Angeles Knights will play another game with the San Antonio Spurs team. During the break between halves, Kelvin says that he knows the opponent's weak point and suggests his strategy. After hearing his suggestion, Coach Wagner allows Kelvin to enter the field in the final quarter of the game. But the problem is that our hero is not wearing his legendary sneaker. but his team's branded shoes. Kelvin panics, pushes the ball away and says he urgently needs to go to the bathroom. But the guy doesn't run to the bathroom, but to the locker room. There he changes shoes in a Michael Jordan sneaker. Kelvin returns to the field, grabs the ball and enters the game. He plays so professionally that the Los Angeles Knights are gradually closing their gap on their rivals. In the last seconds of the game, Kelvin throws the decisive ball into the basket, and his team wins. In the news, our hero is called a new sensation in the basketball world. He gets a season-long contract with the Los Angeles Knights. Kelvin returns to the shelter to pack his bags and meet up with friends. Steve Biddleman informs the guy that he will become his guardian, so that no one can adopt Kelvin while he is playing in the NBA. Kelvin is flying to another game with the Los Angeles Knights. During the flight, he has fun like a normal child. Kelvin and Tracy will have to share a room. An experienced basketball player doesn't like it very much. This kid is too talkative, too noisy, and too fast. In the evening, Tracy goes for a walk and advises Kelvin to order room service. The guy orders himself pizza, potatoes, ice cream, and even lobsters. Tracy returns to the room with her friend and asks Kelvin to leave them alone. Our hero doesn't listen to him. Tracy's girlfriend thinks Kelvin is very cute and pays a lot more attention to him than to her boyfriend. Besides, it turns out that our hero snores loudly at night. In the morning, Tracy is very sleepy and fights with Kelvin about it. Soon another game takes place. Kelvin shows the best results in his super successful sneakers. Thanks to this kid, the Los Angeles Knights are finally starting to win regularly. Now Kelvin even gets autographs. And no wonder, because this guy is literally flying around the field. When Kelvin returns to the orphanage, he is attacked by OKs. The bully is trying to take away his sneakers. The director of the orphanage appears and defends Kelvin. But only because of the money, because he gets a lot of money as his guardian. Our hero returns to the Los Angeles Knights. Tracy drives Kelvin around the evening city. They chat about life, sing, and even dance a little. Tracy goes to the pharmacy to buy allergy remedies and sleeping pills, because of Kelvin's snoring, he can't get enough sleep. The guy meets the pretty pharmacist Allegra, takes his medicines from her and accidentally takes not allergy remedies, but 2 sleeping pills. Tracy gets behind the wheel and starts yawning. His eyes close and he falls asleep. Kelvin tries to wake up his friend, but it's impossible. Then our hero gets behind the wheel himself so that they can get back to the hotel in time. The problem is that Kelvin doesn't know how to drive a car, so he quickly attracts the attention of the police. The guy is suspended from the game for the duration of the investigation and sent home. Now a lot of people want to adopt him. Kelvin talks to his potential parents and realizes that he doesn't like any of them. Kelvin comes to visit Tracy. It turns out that he lives in a luxury country house with a private garden and a swimming pool. Tracy helps our hero prepare for the geometry test. He uses various tactics from basketball to explain the most difficult rule. When geometry gets too boring, guys spray paint each other. Soon the North arrives and the fun continues. Kelvin continues to play with the Los Angeles Knights. They haven't had a single loss in the last few months. One day, Kelvin and Tracy have a serious argument, and their team loses for the first time in a long time. Ahead of the Los Angeles Knights is a battle against the Toronto Raptors. The winner will advance to the playoffs. Beetleman talks to Oxus and finds out that the secret of Kelvin's success is his sneakers. When Kelvin goes to another meeting with his potential parents, Murph tries on his sneakers and imagines himself in the middle of a huge basketball field. Beetleman and several bullies appear, blackmail Murph and take Kelvin's sneakers. Beetleman comes to sports brokers and puts $100,000 on the victory of the Toronto Raptors team. He is sure that the Los Angeles Knights will lose, because Kelvin will not have his miracle sneakers. Kelvin introduces Tracy to the Boyd family. These people are going to adopt him. Murph calls Kelvin and tells him that the shelter director took his sneakers and hid them in his safe. But the game starts in 20 minutes. Kelvin returns to the orphanage and asks the other children to help him. They secretly sneak into Beetleman's office, tie him up, and demand to know the code to open the safe. Oaks appears and wants to release the director, but Kelvin convinces him not to do this. because this man is greedy and selfish. Oaks enters the correct combination, and Kelvin collects his sneakers from the director's safe. Our hero rushes to the game with his companions. Beetleman sends his assistants after Kelvin, but they fail to take his miracle sneakers from the guy. Soon, Beetleman himself appears, but Kelvin does not intend to give up. The third quarter ends with the Los Angeles Knights losing. Kelvin returns, but they want to put him on the bench for being late. Tracy and the rest of the players convince Coach Wagner to let Calvin come out on time. The Los Angeles Knights gradually manage to almost even the score. The difference is only 1 point. Calvin notices that his sneakers are torn. He admits to the team that this is his last game. He wants to become an ordinary child again. In the last seconds of the game, Calvin manages to make a deceptive pass for Tracy to make the winning shot. The Los Angeles Knights win and advance to the playoffs. Kelvin returns to the orphanage and confesses to Murph that he has left his foster parents. They're good people, but they're not what he needs at all. Soon, Tracy arrives at the orphanage. It turns out that Beetleman has disappeared somewhere, and now this orphanage has passed into the care of the Los Angeles Knights. Tracy tells me that she wants to adopt Calvin. After a bit of thought, he adopts Murph as well. Now they have a real happy life, which they never had in the orphanage.